Hey, live Facebook. This is Joe Emanuel, and I'm doing a video from a question that I had on one of my other videos on social anxiety and vestibular disorder. And I want to give you a few tips of what to do when you get vertigo, vestibular disorder, and you're overwrought with anxiety. And because I've had experience in studying psychology and how to apply it to yourself and several workshops, I kind of like I one of the things that I advise on when you have anxiety, if you're not like uh, an active person, is to really be creative. Don't just sit there because anxiety can kind of like freeze you and not let you keep moving. So basically, um, when you're all dizzy and the first time that you get vertigo, you're most likely going to find out what is going on, and you're going to go to a doctor or the emergency room, or you're going to go somewhere else and get very confused as to where do I go first? Do I see the ear, nose, and throat doctor? Do I see the neurologist? And let me tell you, there is what I did to prevent suffering from a lot of anxiety was I made my appointments. I researched my doctors on Google for the waiting time allowed so that I could get in order of appointment. In other words, there was not a long waiting period. Neurologists, for the most part, they do have a waiting list, and you gotta realize that you gotta tough it out and look at their lobby. Feel free to bug these doctors more than you're used to when you make an appointment, because when you're holding on there feeling that everything is shaking for you, it's producing more anxiety, and the more you try to control it. Now, I'm not a doctor. You can go for prescription medications, but I'm familiar with acupuncture, and there are Chinese herbs online that are relatively inexpensive, $5.95 or something like that. This one specific is for nausea, okay? And you just put solved vestibular disorder, solved. You want your research to be positive, so you want to find people, and you use keywords, okay, that are going to help you find people on how to relax, how to calm my anxiety during vertigo or vestibular disorder. What I did, I took a course, and I remember out of all the studies that I made, which would told me that to be active, okay? And I knew that I just didn't want to sit here worried like most of you and most of us do at the beginning of vertigo or vestibular disorder, freaking out, what's wrong with me? Am I having a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? If you have a big family like me, I had a lot of people calling me. The moment I showed them, I checked in on my Facebook that I was in the hospital, everybody wanted to help, but nobody knew how. Some people didn't really believe it because, as this vertigo, it doesn't show on the outside, it's in the inside. But what I kept sharing with family members and friends, those that were helping me, I kept going ahead and adding different videos that I would find of what I was doing. And I did it several times because I knew that not everybody was paying attention. Everybody was living their own life, and not everybody was paying attention to what was being said. Videos like that of Sean Pang's, which is excellent. I have it in my video list. If not, he's an excellent guy, super positive about, and he was one of the people that popped up in my research looking for recovery, solved situations. Even when I'm repairing a computer, I look for the solution, because if you look for the ailment, you're gonna get 1,000 or 10,000s of websites telling you the symptoms that you already know. Also, I belong one of my favorite groups, and I love the owner and the founder of Dizzy Group for this horrible disorder on Facebook, Tammy Telford. I thank her because I did a lot of prayer. I prayed to my dad, I always do, to send me the healing, to let me know what I needed to learn out of any kind of disease Don't feel guilty. Don't feel like, God is punishing you, or that you've been condemned to suffer. No, there's always an opportunity to learn something, because you're going to help others in the long run. But let's think about you. Let's go back to what this is about. I was asked to do a video on description. So anyhow, of what to do with the anxiety and your mood. When you have vertigo, you have a tendency to be pretty bitchy. Okay? I took it out on the right people. On the doctor. When they asked me, did you have a colonoscopy? I go, what does my ass have to do with my, I'm spitting like hell here. And so I just dismissed, really, you have to become an advocate for your own healing. So you feel more in control and you get more answers. Also, you see that I'm going through pages. I have many pages like this. Emotions are going to come up. Journal. What is triggering your anxiety? What is triggering your attacks? I journaled avidly and got down to some serious personal, private things, and that reduced the anxiety. As you're writing down, you don't have a chance, where your mind is focused on something else, that, oh my God, I got this dizziness. I can't say, I do have a picture that I saw from a year ago on yesterday's date. I actually took a picture of me naturally crying, because if we capture ourselves always smiling, and I go, why don't I just go ahead and grab this naturally, okay? And leave me the comments below, because if you notice, I do read it. So anyhow, the formula that I go to this is because it's called Happy Go Wanderer, okay? Or it's written like this: Xiao, Xiao, Yao, 1. But in English, if you're looking for it, okay, this is probably opposite to you, so I'm going to give you a chance to look at it. It's called Happy Go Wanderer. That I keep with me always, because even before the vertigo, my acupuncturist, and most acupuncturists, would recommend it as a in case you're on the edge one day, or you're stressed, and it's herbal. It can't hurt you, and you take like 13 of those, because they look like little balls like this. I want to show you. Let me see if I can show you on the camera without dropping them. Okay, you see? So they look like little pellets like that, and you take about 13 of those. I recommended these Xiao to a friend of mine who used to take Xanax, okay, which is another thing that's recommended for vertigo. I would recommend not to abuse it if you do, because it is addictive. So, I went for the no Band-Aid, okay, choice. But I did take this, because this is kind of like, it helps you, and you want to make sure that while you're doing your vestibular workout, okay. And when I mention vestibular workout, I do have workouts posted on my page, and there are other workouts, and I did create a whole vertigo workout. And you will see also one thing that I added, a dimension that always gets you to think different thoughts. Okay, I happen to have an Echo Alexa. You could have a Google Chrome. Invest in one. If you don't have the money, get a radio station, whatever you got, your music player, and crank it up. Okay, play it. Do your exercises. And I am called the vestibular dancer, because I got popular for doing. Because when I started to sway, which is one of the last symptoms that I felt, like this little sway. And even when I went to the physical therapist who assessed me, by the time I went to the physical therapist, I had already figured out what exercises to do, which is the same video that I have on this page, and I keep passing it on over and over and over again, because there's always new members going into the vestibular groups, and I want to make sure that you get the thumbs up. If you're sitting there and you did the exercises and you're terrified, I say feel the fear and do it anyways. You've got nothing to lose, because what happens, again, I'll repeat this, I painted at the beginning, okay, when I was anxious, but I was still dizzy. I still had to function. I wanted to function as well. So I'm sitting here on the sofa, and if you see that I'm looking behind me, or behind the camera, is because I'm looking at my kitchen counters. And I took paint, and I painted all my bottom kitchen counters, because I could sit on the floor. And then I would get out of breath, and I would sit down, but I would keep moving. And then also, you get so proud and so relieved to just look at that, and you have something else to focus on than your anxiety. When you go in anxiety, the point is, don't try and stop it. Don't try and go into relaxation. Go into momentum, into action. That's what I mean to people when they tell me, "Oh, I'm so dizzy." I say, keep moving. The more active you keep doing. I used to do my dishes there because you can hold on to there. I used to waddle, okay, over and grab from one chair to the counter, to the refrigerator, and I would sit there at the refrigerator for a while just looking at things to eat, because as long as I was there was days that I wanted to eat as much as possible. I want to tell you one thing that I love is indulge yourself. I took to delivery, and I chose every delivery company in the world, and I had to deliver pints of ice cream, and I would have 2 pints of ice cream, and that would be my or 2 quarts, I'm sorry, of ice cream, cookies and cream, Jerry's, whatever, and I would pick out on that, and that would be the whole meal, just to make sure that I wasn't going to gain weight. Anyhow, when you're running anxiety, mostly you're going to be so anxious, you're not going to be really, your metabolism is going faster. So anyhow, if you want to do the medication route, because I kept looking for answers, people that got results. And when you make a question out, make it out as to, how do I solve this? Don't say, oh, I feel this. What did you do about it? Because sometimes, even when you're texting, your eyeballs also are affected with the vestibular workout. You know, find the solution. So I'm going to write here down medication before I forget. Okay. So, guys, I heard mostly the people that I asked, Klonopin, 1 little milligram or 2, it's pretty powerful stuff. That's a benzo. So anything that says a benzo is addictive. Seroquel is an anti-anxiety. This is what they give addicts, I found out, okay, along the way. So when they go to rehab, so when they're detoxing from alcohol, it's an anti-anxiety. It's also prescribed at times to sleep. You want to get good, adequate sleep. If you didn't get adequate sleep, then you're bound to have a little bit more vertigo. Okay. Also, when you have vertigo or vestibular, figure out which ear is messed up. Okay? The one that's ringing the most, if it does, okay? If it's both, then it's both sides. I did an exercise, a visual one. Okay. And guys, I did this alone. So some of the journaling was pretty personal, but you could feel abandoned. You could feel like nobody understands you. But right here, behind me, is my keyboard, okay, and my screen. And I was sitting here on this sofa, and I would sleep here for a while, because the air conditioning is so cool. Cool weather makes you feel so good and so much more relaxed than the bedroom was. So anyhow, a medication I heard people take, Klonopin or clonazepam. What is it? The generic brand name, okay? And quetiapine is the generic of Seroquel. They usually start people at 12.5 milligrams or something like that. And yeah, I gotta say, I tried it for a while, and one thing that I did do that I liked it, and not that it helped me, but it made me feel better. I posted on my Facebook, who the hell here understands what I'm going through? Who has gone through vertigo? And you will be surprised how many people showed up and said that they did have it and what they did. My nephew's girlfriend, uh, the driver of the Uber that took me to the doctor's office, his wife had it. This one had it. I was renting a room. That person had it. Everybody gave me a solution. So I kept focusing on solutions. So when you focus on solutions, trust me, you feel so much more gratified than complaining. And I was just talking about here, as human beings, for some reason, we are addicted to drama, to chaos. Have you ever noticed that when you don't have a dramatic moment in your life, we create it and we look for some kind of because we are creatures of habit, and we're born into a world where throwing a tantrum gets reactions. Well, why don't we just throw that same tantrum to get results? So anyhow, 4 people came to me with 4 different types of vertigo. A friend of mine decided to tell me about SERQ, SERCQ, or beta SERQ, which is sold for like $40. He takes it twice a day. Okay, this is also it's prescribed in the UK, in India, and in Canada, but not in the US. But you can still buy it on eBay. He says he took it twice a day. He has his diagnosis was what do you call it? It was in Thailand that he recommended Meniere's disease, where you had the ring. Imagine his whole life went down the tube for a while, and he says it gave him his life back. So I considered it, but I go, well, it wasn't on the track. I only had one ear was ringing, and it kept going and coming back. For me, there's 2 things that could have happened. I know I went and got, you know how they always ask you, did you get any kind of like infection or whatever that could have brought it on afterwards? Well, I remember I went to the hospital and I had some kind of lung infection, but the doctor just generalized it, like now with the COVID, they generalize. Now you have COVID, no matter what it is. You have a flu, you have a runny nose, oh, that's it, you got the COVID. So with this, I said, I want to also tell you, because in vestibular disorder, they generalize. Most doctors only know how to say vertigo or BPPV. So you may have a vestibular migraine, a vestibular neuritis. So in researching, don't worry so much about the diagnosis or trying to figure out, because doctors don't have all the answers. Okay? But they do have solutions. I had one doctor, a general doctor, who I'm grateful because after emergency, I kind of felt good to see somebody, and they brought me in. But he didn't help me, and I fired him, got rid of him, because I go to his office one more time. Months have gone by. I've done a lot of vestibular workout. I got myself a lot better. He goes to me, you know what, Joey? It never goes away. Oh, no. He picked the wrong person to tell that to. So I fired him. I said, you know what's going to happen now? You're going to give me my blood results to see where my cholesterol and everything that you want to, but you're fired, and I'm going to, because there's a million doctors that I can go to on my insurance plan. So, bye-bye. So get used to firing your doctors, because you're hiring somebody to do a job for you. So if you're picky to have somebody do a good job in your car or your house, then be picky with somebody that's going to be working on your health. Okay? You don't have to accept that person's policies or decisions for you, and you don't want to get that even feedback. I'm the type of person that I like to get done with the past, and I'm a spiritual advisor. So for me, it felt great that the shorts that I had worn constantly, because when you get so dizzy you can't change, I wore them to the hospital. I was so tired and angry at looking at those shorts, I literally tore them apart with the scissors when I got better, because I didn't want to see it. So if you're listening to all this activity, are you listening to how active and proactive I was? And that's what I recommend to you to do. Don't sit there and say, oh my God, I feel so horrible, and then you're not doing anything about it. But so in other words, be proactive in your anxiety. after I got better, you have a ladder. Anything that you can hold on to. When you're not feeling like crap, I grabbed onto the ladder and I painted the whole wall behind me, okay? Let me see if I can turn this around. No, I can't. Okay. But anyhow, the wall in gray, the whole wall, I painted it. I got on the ladder, okay? And this is like, my ceilings are 7 feet high, okay? And so I went up there on that ladder, and I felt so accomplished that day. I would do the dishes the next day. Sometimes I would have piles of clothing, but then I would grab it all and put it in one corner. And I was but the more movement, I was, waving around or whatever, or floating. But no matter what I was doing, I was active. I wasn't feeling like this was not gonna beat me. And a couple of times I played again with Alexa or Echo or device 528 hertz music. I loved it. Believe it or not, hot cocoa tea. I'm sorry, not hot cocoa.
Was that play the song I Love You?
Ginger tea. Okay? Or hot water, drink it, believe it or not, calm me down. I drank a lot of water. I have a container that's like about 1.5 gallons. What else can I offer you to stop the anxiety? Just start creating projects. The journaling gets you very concentrated. But I did listen to a lot. I would talk to a lot of friends, and I would pick different ones. And then I know that some of you, when you're in that stage, you can't. And also, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, but I want to cover most of the bases before I forget it. Some people complain, and I've heard it, that some vertigo is an inflammation of the inner ear, and when you get a headache and your eyes are bothering you, an anti-inflammatory works. And even though my doctor was saying, no, be careful with that, everybody was saying something, I was advocating for my health. I was taking 800 milligrams of Advil whenever I felt that congestion in my ears or in my head, and it would go away. Because no matter what you have, vertigo or not, it doesn't make you any different. It's still an anti-inflammatory. It's going to help you kind of like reduce any constriction in the ear circulation, in the circulation of the blood, and ibuprofen does it very nicely. Rather than, I find that aspirin is terrible on your stomach and it doesn't work. Tylenol didn't work for me. Some people opt for turmeric. I also got vitamin D in liquid form. Everything I like it in liquid form because it goes right to the blood system. Also, if you want rest and relaxation, melatonin lozenges, the ones that you can chew, they have melatonin is what we produce when we go to sleep. They have cherry flavor, strawberry flavor, peppermint flavor melatonin. 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. If you need 30 when you're going to go to sleep, go for it. Can't hurt you. And the ginger is helping. I have a friend who responded very well to ginger candies. She was very creative. I didn't think about it. I used to boil water and put ginger in there, and I would get, my blood pressure was sky high, and so I would calm it down once I got the right, the proper medication for my blood pressure, because anything that promotes you anxiety. But my whole point is, and then I would watch, there are a few people that I would watch good stories. Because when I saw stories about people that have had this forever, 10 years or 20 years, I don't know all the kinds of vestibular disorder that they are, but I just can't, I refuse to believe that that person has done anything. I always believe that there's a solution to face it and do it and take action about it. I believe in affirmative prayer, and one time I really had it out here, and just talking to God made it feel better. I don't know. I also believe in the power where you get angel numbers, when you start to see numbers 1111, 444, 944, 933, those are called, those are numbers that if you look in the internet, they're called angel numbers, and the angels are telling you to watch, look, they're looking out for you. So every time I saw the clock and I was alone and I would see those numbers, it would confirm to me that something good was happening to me. And so anyhow, time kept going by and I kept doing exercises. Then I also started noticing that when the lights went out, because it has to do with the dark, and when your eyes are affected and they can't handle the white bright floors, when the sun goes down, the light in the house varies. So I would make sure, until I got used to the lighting changes, okay, and my eyes got used to the whole vestibular balance, rebalance again, that I would turn on all the lights so there wouldn't be such a high contrast when the sun sets. Because you see that light that's hitting at me from this side? That's a window. There's another one there. So the lighting is very important, guys, that you adjust it. To this day, I'm still happy that I put the computer on, I lowered the light on dim mode, and I kind of like it on the phone that it's not as bright, even after I'm done. But what I did do is I would love Netflix movies, so I would stare, and I would get caught up with a soap opera that had a lot of stories. A couple of times I had to watch standing up, go figure, because I felt less dizzy standing up than I did when you're holding on to a steady bed. See, the steady bed makes you realize the vertigo. When you're moving with the vertigo or the disbalance. Get it? So that's how the whole dancing got started. I said, hey, I can dance. And I started because I thought of the song Sway by Sarah Vaughan, Win the Rhythm, or whatever, and I started to do the sway. And I think that Michael Bublé does it also. But anyhow, I'm just adding more fun to, and anti-anxiety is a matter of getting active. And I didn't like to walk alone, so I also got myself the little headphones. My ear weren't bothering me. And oh, I had to say something back there I forgot. But you never know who's gonna have it. My doctor, when I went to the emergency, she tells me that she had it. And I went because I had a clogged ear. She goes, it's just part of the whole game, the whole package. So in other words, when you get vertigo and vestibular, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And vestibular things that you're going to get happening to you, and symptoms, and you're going to want to find out what they are. Am I dying? Am I having a heart attack? Oh my God! You know, my head is hurting. If you have a migraine, what they give for migraines is usually, 800 milligrams, a high dosage, which is, or you can take 4 200s and you get 800. It's the same stuff, guys. Anyhow, but what they may give you is like a muscle relaxer, an anti-anxiety. Don't be afraid to take those things. I mean, make sure that you're with somebody, or don't be afraid. You're never alone. Hey, did you ever take this before? And please, now again, find the good stories. I would look up medications. What is the positive results on this for anxiety? Not go into panic mode. Learn how to do your research. Let your fingers do the walking or the clacking. So you can text message. So anyhow, like I said, like right now, I would sit here and I would be sitting here and just not thinking about it, not able to relax. But I did get to a moment where I put on headphones and I allowed myself to relax. I found myself a little nook that made me feel cozy in the front entrance of my house, and it's like an adoration room, a contemplation meditation room. So that's also very helpful, and some good pillows for a while. If you have one side that's off balance, if this side is the one that's not balanced, and this is the one that's out of whack, because you can tell when you cross your arms in front of you and you stand one foot in front of the other and you hit your head back. Tammy did this for me. I fell to the right. I still felt wobbly both sides, but I went off to the right. And I figured because this ear was the one that was going, And I lost 40% of hearing. So what? I was already losing it before. So this was oncoming. Anyhow, since I fell on this side, I learned that laying on this side, I felt less dizzy. It's a couple days to relax. I went ahead and trained myself to sleep on this side. Now, kind of like you got to go adapting it to yourself. Then I found one guy that he had it on both sides, so he just spun around, okay, and on a board, and I saw my cushion. We could spin around the circles and make yourself. You know how when you spin anyways, you get dizzy anyway. So if you're feeling bad and you're just starting, I don't recommend that you go ahead and do that right away. But if you're brave like me, like I always have this sofa behind me and the air conditioning right in front of me, and you start to sweat because your blood pressure is about to do a whole bunch of things. Okay, so keep your Shalia one handy. And a couple of times, I gotta tell you, I had a bottle of wine, and let me tell you, if I was gonna sway, I was gonna sway to wine, and I would not get Cabernet. I would get like something that would cool me off with, you know, with ice, and I would have myself. Everything was delivered. I lived the whole month by delivery. It's possible. Let me tell you, it is possible. So anyhow, if I haven't answered all the questions here, the idea, point blank, is get active with different projects. I have paintings that I did. I have a whole apartment here that I painted. I felt like I was gonna fall off the ladder a couple of times, but that ladder is pretty steady. You can lean forward. So, and I think I did it like a second day. I gave myself a break, know when to stop. And anyhow, so this is turning into a 32-minute video, but I want to cover as much as possible, and I hope that this has helped you. If you have any questions, place it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer it. If you have any other ideas of what you would like to know about vertigo or vestibular disorder, I had PPPV, and I believe I had vestibular neuritis, which is the one that says that you have an infection of the ear, and that goes away. Okay? And like I said before in my exercise video, you gotta train the brain, because if the system is not balancing and it's been damaged, then it's amazing how the brain finds a new way to route and rebalance you. Okay, so, and it's not gonna do it away. The brain is a muscle, just like these or the abs. So you're not gonna get six-pack after one day of going to the gym. So with vestibular rehabilitation exercises, you're not gonna get, retrained and balanced right away. You're gonna get dizzier from the exercises. The video that I just said it, and I'm repeating it because I remember when I used to see the video, there was parts that I would miss because the anxiety makes you miss some stuff. So replay the video that I have on exercises and pause it. And I'm going to show you, because I keep looking. Guys, if you have a laptop, you can attach any kind of size TV to it. See the screen back there? Sorry for the mess. Okay? That's about 39 inches. Now you can, from RCA, from Walmart. And if you have that big of a screen, you can actually follow the videos of what the person is telling you to do. So, anyhow, with all my love and best wishes, I hope that you get better. If you do need medication, don't worry about needing medication. If you're going to need it, if you're older, younger, it doesn't matter how old you are, I do like to not have to rely on it, because if I ever move to another country, then I have to figure out again what's going to be good for me, and I hate doing that. So I go try your Chinese herbs, nature first. Some people take CBD oil. I never got around to that. But anyhow, I hope that this is covered as much as possible. I tried to do my best in answering that question on one of my videos. And there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and the happy, healthy healing, and pass this on the information to anybody that you may know that doesn't have vertigo, and be compassionate. Oh, another thing that I want to mention that I took out. I had a lot of friends calling me, just wanting to chat. At the moment, time of recovery, I was very selfish, and you can be. You have every right to be. I only spoke to those people who supported me and knew to tell me keep going, and knew to tell me, did you do your exercises? You know, not the ones that tell me, oh no, I can't believe that you've had it this long, and my sister had it and it went like after stuff, and it just goes away by itself. You know, no, I don't have time for that. You don't either. But so tell somebody, if you're not informed enough on vestibular disorder, and that's why I'm here, explaining all this, what to do with the anxiety, okay? It's not going to go away. You need to act. It is going to go away if you act on it. Go active. Anxiety is extra energy, okay? That's the whole point. Don't try like, okay, now I can do that. We can save the meditation for later on. But trust me, by the time that you use all that pent up anxiety, you're going to be so exhausted that, trust me, you're going to rest the next night. All right, God bless you all. Thank you for watching me. I hope that you find this useful. I'm sure you'll find this useful. And God bless you all. One love and namaste. This is Joe Emmanuel.